Yeah.
I'm not seeing any
If you're
pretty flyers here.
Yeah.
So.
No, this should be a short meeting.
Morbidity questions.
Says he.
Okay, you wanna get us going?
You call the meeting to order.
All right.
A consensus to come out of executive.
Will the rowdy crowd please settle down?
Just do a consensus to come out.
Could I have a consensus to come out of executive session?
I consent.
All right. We are out of executive session. You want to do the announcement again? Or do I just do the Pledge of Allegiance?
No, we just do the pledge of allegiance.
All right, will everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For agenda review, under update from CFO, we're adding 9 resolutions. Oh, I'm sorry. Resolutions to close out escrow accounts. And under consent agenda items, we're going to do 9 resolutions for blue light permits, a driveway cancellation, and under new business, we're adding the Park and Recreation Petty Cash Fund. And under introduction of ordinances, we're doing an ordinance amending section 92-51 for driveways.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the March Township Committee meeting. I'm going to start with the announcements. First, I'm going to say that anything that is scheduled, you should not necessarily count on it happening because things are getting canceled fast and furiously. There are some things on this list of announcements tonight that have been canceled. There are some things that may be canceled, but what I would highly recommend is that you check our website on a regular basis, not only for events that are canceled, but any information that we receive from health organizations, the state, etc., on the coronavirus that we think is useful to the residents, we're going to post on a real-time basis. So I would strongly advise people to check the website on a regular basis. So I'll start now with the announcements. First, 2020 annual dog licenses were due by the end of February. If you didn't pay them, there is now a $25 late fee. The community bingo night, which was scheduled for Friday, March 20th, 2020, has been postponed, really canceled. If we decide to do it again at some point in the future, we will let you know, but for now that is canceled. The Hunterdon County Utilities Authority will hold an electronic waste collection on March 21st, 2020 from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Hunterdon County Complex. There's contact information in the agenda for details. The Ag Advisory Committee, along with the Parks and Recreation Committee and the East Amwell School PTO, was going to present a movie called The Biggest Little Farm on Friday, March 27th at the school. I was actually greatly looking forward to that. I wanted to see that movie. That too has been canceled. Basically, the school, for the time being, is canceling any external events. So if there are other events that you are planning on going to at the school that I do not announce tonight, you should check because there is a good chance if they are in the near future, they have been canceled. My understanding is the men's basketball is also canceled for the time being. The Easter egg hunt, which is scheduled to take place on Saturday, April 4th, 2020 at 11 a.m. at the East Amwell School, has not yet been canceled. It's an outdoor event. So right now, that is still on. But you should, again, check the website because that could change. The Roadside Cleanup Day in East Amwell Township is on Saturday, April 18th. Please refer to the Recycling Committee page on our website for contact information. We can always use volunteers for the roadside cleanup. If you want to volunteer to clean all or part of your own road, that would be greatly appreciated. Again, you could check our website, the recycling committee page, for contact information to sign up to help with the roadside cleanup. The annual Spring Cleanup Day is going to be Saturday, April 25th from 8 a.m. until noon at the municipal parking lot. Permits are available through the clerk's office. $15 for a car, $25 for a van, $35 for a truck. And there is discretion on the part of the people who are running the operation for anything that is bigger than a truck, for example, a trailer that is being towed. There are limits on what you can dispose of. Permits can be purchased from the clerk or on the day of the event. Well testing through Raritan Headwaters will be from April 6th through the 17th. You could pick up kits here at the municipal office. Mara Tippett, a watershed scientist, will be available to assist residents on Tuesday, April 7th from 6 to 7 p.m. at the municipal building. The municipal offices will be closed on April 10th in observance of Good Friday. The East Amwell Township Community Yard Sale will be April 18th and 19th. Sign-ups can be done through the community events page on the township website. One of my favorite events of the year, the East Amwell PTO Color Run, is going to be held on May 9th at the school from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's a great event. It's a 1 mile and a 5K color run. It is a lot of fun, plus there are a host of other events going on, so it is a really nice day. I strongly encourage people to attend, and you can find more information on our website. The annual Plant Swap Day will be held at Clawson Park on May 16th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. As I've said earlier, residents are strongly encouraged to regularly check our website for updates regarding the township. It's funny because I worked the recycling depot this past Saturday, and 2 people on separate occasions commented to me about events that occurred that they didn't know were occurring. And they were posted on the website, and I said, "Did you check the website?" "No." You have to check the website. That is going to be your source of information in East Amwell. We spend a lot of time making sure that we keep it current and that we have a broad array of events that are going on in the township posted. You have to check the website. Finally, I would like to congratulate the gentleman on my right, Chris Sobieski, who was one of 6 speakers at the NJGOP statewide leadership summit's Young Elected Officials panel. If you look at the other people who spoke on that panel, they were from much, much larger organizations or municipalities than East Amwell Township. So I think it is a real credit to Chris that he was selected to speak on that panel.
Thank you.
Chris is really making a name for himself in the Young Republican organization, and that reflects very well on East Amwell Township. So I just wanted to congratulate Chris. I think that was quite an honor.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I also want to mention one other thing, because tonight is Embarrass Chris night.
Oh, no. What now?
The Firehouse had its comedy night last weekend. We had a great time. We particularly had a great time because Chris was sitting front and center, and the last comedian chose to target Chris. But as it turns out, the fire company has a 50-50 raffle. They drew, and guess who won? Chris. And guess who donated the proceeds back to the fire company? Chris. I thought that was a really nice thing that Chris did, to give the money back to the fire company. Very, very rarely at those events do I see people who win the 50-50 donate the money back. I think it really reflects well on Chris, because Chris could really use the money, okay?
Not only, normally I could, but this weekend, that weekend specifically, because I was speaking at the panel before that in Atlantic City. So of course, you know, we know what happens in Atlantic City to your wallet, right? So, and the fact that I got roasted for about an hour and a half at the comedy night, I think I was deserving of the money. But
I thought it was very nice that Chris donated it back.
Thank you.
Okay, so, Allison, is there anything else I should be telling people now? Because I know you're staying current on what's going on. Anything else that I haven't said on the list that I should announce?
No, I mean,
Okay.
during open to the public, I'll give a little bit of an update on some other things to do at school if you want.
Perfect. Okay. So with that, then, let's go to Margaret and the CFO's update.
I'm going to start off with resolutions. Number one listed on here is actually a budget transfer, not a temporary budget. That's why I ran out of here in panic, because I thought I forgot, I did something, but
It's a budget transfer.
it's a budget transfer. So we have one more transfer. I had a late straggling invoice from last year to show up, and I didn't have enough money, so I'm going to transfer some more money into the Board of Health.
So you're looking for a resolution approving a budget transfer?
Yes,
Okay.
$1,000.
Okay. I did see that in the Google Drive.
Yeah, I saw it also.
So could I have a motion, or do I need a motion, or
Yeah, it's a
motion?
resolution.
A motion to it.
I'll
You know,
move.
you'd think by now, Krista, I would know this stuff, but I just, for some reason, I cannot, I focus
Read
on
your
substance. I focus on substance and not on, oh, yes, it does say right here, thank you, okay. Could I have a motion to approve the budget transfer, please?
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Supercelt sent me an email 2 days ago reminding me that I keep forgetting to ask if there's anybody opposed.
Really?
So I thank Sue for reminding me.
Figured
Okay.
you'd be mad 'cause we were people.
Okay. All right.
All right, my next one is a resolution to return a driveway deposit for Block 21, Lot 15.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve the return of that driveway deposit?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Okay, and I also had a resolution, I was doing some housekeeping, and we're closing out 4 escrows. So I need a resolution to pass that so I can return the money to the owners.
Could I have a motion to approve the return of the 4 escrows?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right, then I have a couple of budget-related resolutions. Municipalities, every 3 years have to have the state approve their budget before they can pass it. The other 2 years, they're under self-exam. Thankfully, we're under self-exam. So I have a resolution for self-examination of the budget.
Okay, that was in the Google Drive. I assume everybody looked at it. Could I have a motion to approve the self-examination resolution?
I'll move the self-examination resolution.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, the next resolution is to introduce the budget by title and text only. If we don't do this, we're gonna have to read every single line on it out.
But it's 85
85
pages.
pages.
I just have one quick question.
No, okay. Yes, that is correct. He is still yes.
With the discussion with,
We will change,
but this is a month-long process.
well, we'll fix it for the next.
Or, yeah, if something changes by
Uh,
adoption, I can change that.
Margaret, I'm not on here in the governing body members.
You
Oh,
are
yes,
now.
I am now,
Yeah,
okay.
You are
That's
now.
been changed.
Yeah.
I had assumed that was intentional and that you guys would kick me off,
Can I
but,
just clarify what I'm saying? This is a month-long
So we'll just take them off.
okay.
process.
So let me, all right, I understand what,
Okay.
Margaret, while Carl Taylor has been our municipal attorney because we haven't yet appointed one, we will have somebody appointed as the municipal attorney by April.
Then I can change that. for
Okay,
adoption.
that's not a problem.
Yeah, I just didn't
Okay.
want to leave it blank.
Perfect,
Okay.
okay,
Good.
okay. First, well, before I make a motion, and I've said this before, but a lot of work went into this budget, and particularly Krista and Margaret, and Jason, because we almost have the budget flat this year. It's close. There'll be a small tax increase, but it is almost flat, and it took a lot of work to get there because our costs go up and we're doing more. For example, our computer equipment here was 10 years old and failing, and we're buying new computer equipment. And we're doing lots of other things, some of which I will talk about later. But we managed to keep the budget almost flat. It took a lot of hard work to do that, but I would like to thank Margaret, Krista, and Jason for their efforts. I mean, they really got it when we said that we have to turn over every stone to try to save money. I mean, to the point where we were canceling, as I've said before, subscriptions and saving $20 or $30. I mean, that's how granular we got. So I'm very happy with this budget. I think it's the product of a lot of hard work, and I think it's a good budget. So with that, I will ask for a motion to approve the introduction of our 2020 municipal budget.
I will, I'll move it.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Just one question, Krista. I know that or not Krista.
Margaret?
Margaret, that summary sheet that talks about what the impact is on the average home
Yes,
isn't part of this package.
no,
Right. Could you just,
sure.
for the record, sort
Okay,
of say what that is, please?
after we were done with all the numbers, I made a couple small adjustments of my own, and I had gotten the 2020 impact on the average price of a home, which is $386,000. It was just under $5 a household.
Oh,
Good.
Now,
it's not bad.
last week, Mary Ann had to adjust the rateable figures, so now we're up to $5.04. That is the impact.
Okay, good. Well, thank you.
Okay, pricey with that.
And the tax rate was .203, it is now .204, so 1/10 of a penny.
Okay, good.
It's not bad.
So we were close to flat.
Yeah.
We're a little over, there'll be a little tax increase, but we were close to flat. Any other discussion?
I would just say something, not broader thinking here. You know, I think as a township, and I'd say this to the residents too, we really need to think about broadening the tax base, whether that be through 202 development or what have you. But, you know, we can't, you know, like you're saying, we bust our what's to get this budget as flat as possible, and it's just not a sustainable, it can't be a sustainable practice if we don't have more income coming in, one way or another. I think tax increases are the last thing we want, so, you know, we have to look at different ways to broaden that up going forward. I think residents need to keep that in mind too, if they want to keep their taxes low. So, just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, is this a roll call or just a motion? I guess you have it here.
Now I have to have a roll call.
Okay.
Before the vote.
Okay. Mr. Castellano,
Yes.
Mr. Matthews,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Sobieski,
Yes.
Mr. Wall.
Yes.
Okay. This will be advertised in the Democrat next week, and then we'll be having adoption on April 9th in a public hearing.
Yes.
Okay, under mine also, Chris, do you have something called the finance notice for compliance of federal civil rights requirements?
Yes, that was in the
Copy of
Google
that?
Drive.
Yeah, that's something they did every year.
We have to sign that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you going to distribute it for signature?
Yes.
Do we need a motion to approve it, or we just sign it?
You need a motion to approve it.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve the finance notice 2017-27, compliance with federal civil rights requirements resolution and affidavit for governing body?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? What is number 4, the 2020 budget resolution? Is that now extraneous?
We just did it.
Well, you just did that.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. So
Yeah.
that's extraneous, okay. Okay. Then, anything else from you, Margaret?
No, I guess that's it. I spent all
Okay.
day making budget copies, and we have a huge crowd,
Mm-hmm.
so everybody take 2. Okay?
With your friends.
Margaret, can you circulate to the 5 of us that one sheet Tim was referring to?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
You don't have to do it tonight, but when you're next in the office, if you could circulate that to the 5 of us.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, with this new system, The system spit out quite a bit of information, and I was afraid to give it out. I thought it would confuse everyone, but if you want to take a look at it, I'll give you that also. It's
That's fine.
the tax impact, it's
Yeah.
pages, it's projections, it's all sorts
I'll
of things.
take it, yep.
So, I don't-
Let's, when we post this on the website for review, let's post that also. I think the residents need to see that, so.
All right. See if I can get this a little bit neater because it's still a work in progress. They had a, what is it, the budget advertisement, I wasn't happy with their form, so I used my old form. But I'll neaten this up and then get you a copy.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Special discussion. I don't think there's anything that came out of the executive session that we need to discuss here. So let's go to B, which is the color run request for road closure. The color run really made a couple of requests to the township, the same that they've made in the past, for assistance in running the event, to borrow some of our materials, garbage cans, cones, etc. And then the road closure. Wirtsville Road is closed for a period of time for the 5K run. We've approved this in the past. It's the same as what we've approved in the past. The Color Run is a great community event. So the Township Committee has historically been behind the Color Run. So could I have a motion to approve the Color Run request for the road closure and the assistance?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Next item is a discussion regarding the donation of bleachers to the 4-H fair. We have bleachers in our municipal field that are not and have not been used, and we don't anticipate using in the foreseeable future. The 4-H fair has a need for those bleachers. One of the people on the committee reached out and asked if they could have the bleachers. And I had a couple of discussions with Jason about that. To make a long story short, I was okay with them having the bleachers. It's permissible under the law for us to give them the bleachers because they are a not-for-profit. They're a 501c3. But I wanted to attach two conditions. One, if the 4-H fair ceases, we get the bleachers back. And two, if we ever decide we need the bleachers back, we can ask for the bleachers back. I don't see that happening in the foreseeable future, but who knows what things could be like 10 years from now. I also inserted into the resolution, and that would go into our agreement with the 4-H fair, that we're making no warranties regarding the safety, quality, etc. of the bleachers. They're taking them as is. In order for this to pass muster under state law, we need to adopt a resolution approving this. And so that was in the Google Drive. I assume you all saw that resolution. I also had Krista specifically send it to everybody so that it would stick out, because I wanted people to look at it. Can I have a motion to approve that resolution to donate the bleachers to the 4-H fair, subject to the conditions I've described?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just make a comment. It's a bittersweet moment. I spent a lot of time on those bleachers watching the little kids play baseball. So it's a shame baseball sort of ceased here in East Amwell. But I think putting them to good use is a good thing. So fully support it.
I'm glad they're gone because I played baseball and I stunk, so I said
You sat on those benches?
good riddance.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Terrific. I will let 4-H know. By the way, they have to come and get them. If the fair stops, they have to bring them back. If we request to have them back, we have to get them back, which seemed fair. If we ask for them back, it should be on us to go get them. But if the fair goes under, they have to get them back to us, and they have to come pick them up and take them. So we're not incurring any costs. Okay. Next, I wanted to talk about the shared services agreement with Delaware Township that I signed earlier this week. I talked about this briefly at the last Township Committee meeting. On Monday of this week, I signed a shared services agreement with Delaware Township. It is a one-year agreement that provides that Delaware Township Police will patrol roads in East Amwell Township enforcing speed limits and weight limits. Delaware Township will not charge us anything for providing this service. They get to keep whatever revenue they generate writing the tickets. That seemed like a great arrangement. It's a much better arrangement than we had years ago with West Amwell Township. I'm in preliminary discussions with the mayor of Raritan Township about potentially doing a similar arrangement with Raritan Township. Now that we have a signed shared services agreement, Mark Castellano, myself, Krista, Jason Silverthorne, and John Mills are going to go and meet with Delaware Township, with one of their township committee members and members of their police department to lay out a game plan for East Amwell. For those of you who are not familiar with John Mills, John is a resident. He's a member of our planning board. He is a retired state police officer. I reached out to John and asked him if he would help us with this, because he would better understand how to put something like this in place than we would. John not only agreed to help us, he is also going to go set up a meeting with the state police, Mark and me, to coordinate all this with the state police and see if we could get maybe some greater participation from the state police. So I appreciate that John is stepping up and helping us. I think we really need that kind of assistance because none of us really has connections with the state police or really understands the nuts and bolts of putting an arrangement like this in place. So John is going to help us coordinate this. So with a little luck, in the next few weeks, Delaware Township Police will start patrolling roads. We are going to focus initially on the village, Lindbergh, which is having real speeding problems, Mountain Road, Wartsville Road, and then we're going to play it by ear, see how things go. But you probably saw our DPW out there posting speed limit signs. We put them on the mountain because a number of residents told us that there weren't any. And this way, if people get pulled over for speeding, they can't say, well, we didn't know. You now know. Not that we didn't know as a defense, but now you know. Now you have no excuse. So as people are speeding down these roads, they know what the speed limit is. We plan on posting more signs in the summer. The reason we're not doing that now is, honestly, we ran out of money. We only had so much money in the 2019 budget to buy these signs. We have not finalized the 2020 budget yet, so we cannot dip into 2020 money for these signs. But once we finalize the 2020 budget, we do have money in the budget, and we will put more signs on roads where signs are necessary. NJDOT did a study years ago in East Amwell about where we needed signs. Jason has that study, our DPW supervisor, Jason Silverthorne. So we're working off of that study in placing the signs. So they're not just going out willy-nilly or randomly. NJDOT had come into East Amwell and done a study like 10, 12 years ago. So we're just piggybacking off that study. So I view this as really good news. you know, it was a complaint Mark and I heard a lot this fall when we were out campaigning and knocking on doors about speeding in the township. You know, it just goes to show the value of getting out there and knocking on doors. You learn a lot about your municipality that you might not otherwise find out if you didn't actually physically go knocking on people's doors. It's funny, people won't call you or email you, but if you knock on their door and you're right in front of them, they will share these things with you. I actually strongly encourage people to call us and email us if they have problems. We don't bite, and we greatly appreciate the feedback. Next item is discussion regarding community events. I already touched upon this, but I'm going to reiterate it again. Our Parks and Rec Committee is working really hard on putting together a slate of community events. One of the issues people raised when we were out door knocking is that there weren't enough community events and people would like to see more. Another that we heard quite often was people really like the Friday nights in the park. So this year we're going to do 3 Friday nights in the park instead of 2. At one of the Friday nights in the park, we are going to have an East Amwell talent contest, which I think is going to be really neat. That will get out there, and those of you in East Amwell that have talents that you would like to share, this will be your opportunity to share them with the municipality.
Wait, when and where is this?
The park?
We'll let you
That's
know,
the
Chris.
part.
Check
We will
the
let you
guitar.
know. Check the website,
Bring
Chris.
the guitar in. I'm rusty, but I'll
But
pick it back up.
you know, Parks and Recreation had arranged for the bingo night. We had a trivia night recently. It was a packed house. It was at Old York Cellars, and it was a lot of fun. We had a great time at the trivia night, and the people who were there really enjoyed it. So there are going to be a lot more community events, but the only way you're going to know about them is you have to check the website. And I strongly encourage people to attend because they are a lot of fun. Next is discussion of roads being chip sealed this year. I think we know what roads we're going to chip seal, and the only reason I say I think we know is because we're still working on finalizing numbers, but assuming the numbers come in line with what we have in the budget, this year we plan on chip sealing Backbrook Road, Boss Road, Gerbowski Road, Melbourne Lane, and potentially Iron Horse. I'd like to get Iron Horse done this year. It's relatively small, so we're hoping to do Iron Horse as well. So again, that's Backbrook, Boss, Gerbowski, Melbourne, and hopefully Iron Horse. For 2021, again, it'll all depend on the budget. And given the state of the economy right now, who knows what our budget will look like in 2021. But if things go well, just to give folks a heads up of what we're looking at for candidates in 2021. I'm doing this in alphabetical order, by the way, not in order of importance. We have them listed in alphabetical order. Larson, Losi, Rainbow Hill, Saddle Shop, Toad Lane, and Wagner. Now, with Wagner, the DPW is going to try this year to do some significant repair work on Wagner, particularly the end by Bounce Station, which is really in need of some work. It's in very bad shape. So our DPW is going to work on that, and then hopefully next year we chip seal Wagner. So those are the targets for 2021. So that's where we are on the chip seal program. Part of the reason we're looking to do weight restrictions on certain roads, and we have the engineer looking into that, is because we don't want to spend all this money chip sealing only to have large trucks that are using East Amwell as a cut-through, tear up our roads. Last on the special discussion, I just wanted to update residents on the tree trimming by JCP&L. We received a number of complaints from residents about the tree trimming. The tree trimmers were closing roads and not putting road closed signs, so residents would drive partway down the road only to find that it was closed, which was incredibly frustrating. The tree trimmers were blocking lanes and making people sit and wait. They were blocking our school buses. In one case, at least one case, they damaged someone's property. They blocked someone from getting out of their driveway. So this was getting out of hand. I reached out to our representative, Stan Prater, and asked for a meeting. He agreed. He brought his forester with him, and Mark, myself, Krista, and Jason met with Stan and the forester. I'm going to be quite honest. The forester was remarkably arrogant. We were ready to throw him out of the room and throw the entire tree trimming staff out of the township. Mark explained to the forester 2 instances on Rainbow Hill where Mark drove down, got to the end, and found the road closed, and there was no road closed sign at the beginning. Jason explained an incident with the bus. This forester was denying that these things happened, basically implying that Mark and Jason were lying. I had no patience for that. But in the end, Stan assured us that these problems would stop. That when roads were closed, not only would they put road closed signs, but they would coordinate with our DPW, and that they would try to give us 48 hours or at least 24 hours notice so we could post it on the website, so that people will know in advance that the road is going to be closed. That they would have a flag person when they were closing lanes, that on the narrow roads they would not start the tree trimming until after the school buses went by, that they would be more careful around people's property, that they would notify people if they were going to be in their driveways. So supposedly these problems are going to stop. If they don't, if residents encounter these problems, you have to let us know. And posting it on the East Amwell Bulletin Board does not qualify as letting us know. I don't check the East Amwell Bulletin Board. I can't possibly check all sorts of media out there. I do find out about things on the East Amwell Bulletin Board because my wife or Mark's wife, Allison, will email me. But you should not count on a post on the East Amwell Bulletin Board as a contact with the Township Committee. If these things happen, send me an email, call me. My contact information is on the website. I do not mind getting emails. I really actually appreciate it. Let me know if you encounter these problems going forward. Okay. Standing committee reports, we don't have any. Approval of the minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes to approve tonight. We have the February 13th, 2020 executive session minutes. I reviewed those. I gave Krista comments. That was all in the Google Drive. I assume you all saw it. Could I have a motion to approve the February 13th, 2020 executive session minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I'll abstain.
Okay. Thank you, Pete. Next set is the February 13th, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Again, I gave Krista comments on those minutes. They were in the Google Drive. Could I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. We are now up to the open to the public. Anyone from the public can speak up to 10 minutes on any topic, whether it's not on the agenda. Can I have a motion to open to the public?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are open to the public.
Actually, good evening. Rich on Mountain Road. How's everybody tonight? Everybody okay?
Yes.
Actually, I was going to ask to be put on the agenda for the next meeting with a little more time to discuss something. But now that you brought it up already, I don't know if I can do it in 10 minutes, though.
Well, we limit you to 10 minutes, Richie.
Well, if I don't talk more than 10 minutes, it's going to cost you more down the road in payroll. I spoke with Jason the other day.
We will limit you to 10 minutes, Richie. You have to make this in 10 minutes.
Oh, it has to do with what you're talking about, and you'll make the decision. Maybe we can ask for a vote. Here's what I'm going to talk about. I was going to ask for more time. I noticed Jason putting up speed signs, okay? So I mentioned to him, why they were doing it. The reason I'm going to say it, I'm going to try to bring the important stuff right up forward. If you put them speed signs up and anybody gives a ticket out because of them, those tickets will be invalid. And we will come under the gun, and I'm going to tell you why. Everything is right here. I happen to have this home, okay? The surveys were done in 2004 on all the roads in East Amwell, okay? Because they asked for a survey be done. Hopewell Engineering did it. When the surveys come out from the state, this is the list. Okay. I'm going to read you just the important part so you know why I need a little more time. Should you have any questions, please contact the person here, okay? The street signs are up. Here it is. Be advised, unless regulation enacted within the following 3 years, period, a survey shall be required. If it's not done within 3 years, it's null and void. You have to have it done all over again by the state. Okay? State Department of Transportation. Just to give you an example, it's not going to help you look, Mayor, I'm trying to help you out here, but I know you don't like that. These are all the surveys on all the roads you're trying to look for. I'm trying to help you out.
Richie, I have no issue with
These
you
are all
helping
the
us out.
surveys. I have them right here on every road you're talking about. Okay? Now, some were done in 2004. And the ones that were done in 2004 had to be completed by 2007. If they weren't done by 2007, you have to go back to the state and have them all redone all over again. So in 2005, when I got in office and I was given the roads and all of that, we decided, okay, that we would take it upon the complaints of the people on these different roads. The first ones that came in was Backbrook Road. And believe me, they came in force, okay? So what we did was, actually the first road we did was Backbrook Road, all right? Right here, Backbrook Road. But now what happened, when you have to put the speed limit signs up first before you could put the rest of the signing up. Well, nobody said anything when the speed signs went up. But then when they had to come back, which the state gives you, here's the maps they give you, where all those yellow signs go, the curved signs and all those signs, they start coming in and complaining, we only wanted speed limit signs. We don't want all these yellow and black signs. So we took a lot of heat because of that, had a hard time explaining it to them that the state puts everything out, okay? So now what happened, the decision was being made to try to do whatever roads we could do with the budget because of the signs and everything and the time involved. Like you take the signs and being put up right now, they're supposed to be at certain heights. They're all at different heights right now. I understand you're doing it fast, trying to get something done, but the signs are illegal. So what I'm saying to you now, if you're going to look forward, in 2005, we did the rest of the roads. In 2005, okay? In 2005, they approved well, we still haven't done these roads, but anyway, they approved, I think, 3 roads and 5. Like I say, it was, so this one here was 2005. The Stony Brook Road was approved in 2005. So now, if you didn't put the signs up in 2005, you only had 3 years to do it. So I hope you see my gist here. You only have 3 years since the surveys were done to put the signs up. And the state actually made the statement very clearly. The reason for that is times change. More population, more people. So if you put them up after 3 years, you can't no longer go by this. Can't do it. You have to ask the state to come back again. So that's why we decided it got out of hand. To, you know, take it the way it is. People come in and start complaining again, but you just can't go out and use these no more. I just happen to still have them. You can't do it. So like I say, and I think one of the other things that implemented this, Hamilton Township was putting signs up, and what they did is they were putting them up after this 3-year period. They went through this too. So my daughter even was one of them, got a ticket for a sign. I paid it, no problem. But then a couple of years later, the people in town start waking up. Something's wrong here. So they had a class action suit. They went against the town, and they lost. They had to go back and take all the signs down. Hamilton Township. They had to take them all down, which they were worried because now what happens is the people that got tickets and summonses, they hit the courts. My ticket was illegal. The signs were illegal. And that's what I think when the state got involved and made the statement. Now, there's a page for every road you're talking about right here. And the maps are all here, how they're supposed to be put in, where they're supposed to be put in. But also on the last page, it says if it's not done within 3 years, they're no good no more. I'm just trying to save us money. And you can have Jason go around and do all he wants, and you can tell police to give tickets out. But let me tell you something. Take it for what it's worth. That's all I'm saying to you.
Anyone else from the public? Come on up, Allison.
All right, maybe just a couple of updates from the school perspective, that just stuff that happened today, if general public kind of want to know. One thing, the school, East Amwell, they're doing a really good job of keeping everyone informed. You know, they're working so I've been talking to Ed and John about this. They've been working so diligently on this. I mean, 100% of the time is spending on this. And they're all, I've been in school up till today. We can't really go there anymore. But, you know, they're working to make sure the environment is really sanitary for the kids. And, you know, they're really doing the best they can to keep that environment, you know, good for the kids. They've been working really diligently on preparing the remote classroom scenario for them. Kids have been sent home with packets, kind of in front of the packet, you know, don't open until we say so, kind of thing. You know, but it's just the instructions essentially for if they have to start working online. They obviously also have preparations for those that don't have remote access, so they'll have, you know, physical packets for that for those kids if they need that. They've really done a lot to put everything in place if the school gets closed. Same for Central. Central have been doing that today, well, all, you know, this week and everything else. But they announced today that they would be an early dismissal tomorrow, Monday, for the teachers to prepare all their online scenarios for all the kids. So that's good. I mean, obviously, from a Central perspective, the kids already work very much through Google Classroom, so I think that's pretty easy for them, more so probably than East Amwell. But East Amwell's ready to go. They are ready to go. as Rick said, also the notice went out today from school that all external activities will be postponed, cancelled through the school. As Ed said to me, the egg hunt, as of now, it's outside the school. He doesn't mind that going ahead, as and when we get to that, and if it's a change, fine, we change it. But as of now, that will go ahead. We were originally having little helpers stuff Easter eggs, but we're not going to do that now. There'll be a couple of us handling that if we get to that point. 3,000 eggs. Anyone wants to volunteer and that is considered to be clean and healthy, please come. But so no, we'll keep that very much in a tight circle. But I hope we can do that because I think the kids need sort of some fun, and it's all being very restrictive for them right now. The other sad part of the day, if anyone knows this, is that the high school Evita production, the musical that the kids have been working on for weeks, which they did do their show to the senior citizens yesterday afternoon, which was brilliant, very successful, big turnout. Some of the East Amwell residents posted on Facebook to me, they loved it. Supercell was one of those. A few people, they loved it. I wish I'd gone because the notice came out today that today, tomorrow and Saturday is cancelled. I'm hoping they're going to reschedule it. I think they'll do their best to at some point. So I'm really hoping that happens. The kids are really upset. But it is what it is. What else we got here? Oh, and a similar vein, East Amwell has a drama production coming up next week. They would still do the show to the kids during the day in school, but again, the evening performance is cancelled for the parents. So the parents are not. The other part is that they're not allowing anyone really now, as of Monday, into the school other than the children and the staff. So parents, if there's any sort of school classroom parties and all that sort of stuff, none of that. So no homeroom parents are allowed in. So they're really kind of keeping it, really restricting it down. That's of course if they're all in school Monday. What else? And the other part to that obviously is that if the kid, Ed said to me, we've sailed in through the winter. It's probably the easiest winter so far with regards to snow days. There was one snow day, and that was even kind of an iffy one, but it was called one snow day. And here we are with this. But what he did say is obviously with the remote classroom scenario for the kids, if they're working from home, they're counted as part of their 180 days of school. So they won't lose those days from their 180 days of school, which is great. What else we got here for you? Hold on, I was scribbling. Oh, and we said the basketball is what else we got here? Oh, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. And just to add to with the spring cleanup, and I'm hoping that sort of stuff can still go on. The spring cleanup day. I mean, everyone's outside. I hope it can still happen, and that's considered an iffy event. But just to add to that about the spring cleanup day, that the rescue squad will still have their fundraiser but collection that they're doing. It's kind of intertwined with our spring cleanup day, so they'll be doing that between. It's all on the website, but between April 1st, April 24th, and then on the 25th, they will be at the spring cleanup day, and they will be helping with the collections, and then some of the stuff will go to them for their fundraiser. Some of it will go to the PTO, the rest of it will go to Goodwill, and it's all kind of worked out. I think that is about it. Oh, and just one more shout out for Trex, because we actually have 4-H groups signed up next to take the Trex collection on, which is great, and I'm really hoping after the initial 4-H group take it on, I'm hoping that's going to filter out to other 4-H groups. But we really, really would like anybody out there that has a group of people, and it doesn't have to be an organisation, it can be any group of people that want to come and help and do this collection and help with the plastic and get a bench for it. We'd really love them to come, let us know, because what's happened this time is that the recycling committee had to pick up this collection and do it ourselves because there wasn't a signed up group. The ball is rolling, the momentum's there, all this plastic, and God knows how much toilet roll covering we're going to get coming in for this now. Just saying.
How many benches have been?
Yeah, this is silver lining. Yeah.
We're on that. Yeah, we're on the 7th bench. This is the 7th bench now coming to completion, and then the next one's the 8th bench. So You know, it's great, and the ball is rolling. We are getting a ton of stuff in. We're getting extra help from the community, couple of community members who are chipping in and helping. So it's great. It's all going, but we need groups to sign up to want to do it and have a bench and to help. Otherwise, what are we doing with it?
Who's coordinating it from your side?
Well, Chantal Napoleon is the main Trex coordinator from the recycling committee. She does a fantastic job, phenomenal job. She's there. She's put so many hours in to this Trex program. It's insane. You know, she manages it end to end. She does all the depot work on the day, and she does a lot of work for it. So, big shout out to Chantal. And yeah, so it's, you know, it's great. We need. If you know anybody that has a group of people, whatever it is, wherever it is around the township, that want to do this, want to get a bench, they need to put in some effort, some volunteer hours. But you know, we really like to hear from people, because we don't want to get this backed up to the point where we have no group sign up for it, and then we have to say, sorry, we can't take this anymore because we have nowhere for it to go. You know, so that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Allison.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Tundra want to say anything? All right, motion to close to the public.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Rick, can I make a comment regarding the coronavirus, if you don't mind?
You could make a comment regarding it, and go ahead.
So, you know, I've been spending a lot of time professionally dealing with this issue. This is sort of what I do. And I think we're fortunate in East Amwell in that we are already fairly spread out. I mean, we're really a lucky community in that sense, that for the most part, everyone is spread out at a nice distance. So I would just urge the residents to not panic, to stay calm, and just really focus on personal hygiene. The best thing you can do is wash your hands, don't put your hands to your face, and just be conscious of your interactions with other people. If you're sick, don't engage. If they're sick, stay away. And if we do that, I think East Amwell could weather this storm if it gets as bad as some professionals think it may get.
Yeah, look, my firm has been spending a lot of time and effort on this as well, and putting out notices. And I just want to repeat what Tim said. Number one, there are three things that you should be doing to really minimize this. Number one, wash your hands thoroughly. 15, 20 seconds between the fingers, partway up the wrist, wash them thoroughly. Two, if you do touch anything that is not a personal effect, do not touch any part of your body above your neck. Don't touch your eyes, your mouth, your ears. Don't touch any part of your body above your neck till you can wash your hands thoroughly. And three, as Tim said, be very conscious of those around you. If anyone around you appears to be sick, stay away. If you do those three things, you greatly, greatly reduce any risk to yourself. None of the three are all that difficult, unless you have to get on a crowded subway in New York City, which fortunately I haven't done in the last 10 days, and I'm going to try to avoid doing as much as I can.
Should try avoiding riding the subway in New York City regardless.
Period. But I just want to repeat what Tim said, because that's the same message that's being delivered in the city. That's how you protect yourself. I just want to make one more comment. The first time I met Richie Spiegel was when I was door knocking in 2016. And Richie lectured me on how our Board of Health was illegal.
It wasn't a lecture,
And
it was a comment.
the
Big difference between
I
the two
respected
words.
you while you spoke.
Well, I'm saying.
We are closed to the public.
You're
Sit there and
kind of
listen to me.
correct, But you're kind of,
I went home and I did some research, and I found not only was Richie flat out wrong, but that in fact we had to have a Board of Health. Since that time, Richie has from time to time come to these township committee meetings and lectured us on the state of the law. And initially, when he did that, I would then go home, look at what he said. Without exception, he has been wrong every time. Not even close, flat out wrong. So when Richie looks at me and says, why aren't you paying attention? I'm not paying attention, Richie, because you come here, you spout off like you know the law, and you don't. Are you entitled to do that? Yes. Am I going to pay attention? No. Not if I have other things to do. Because you are just flat out wrong. You were flat out wrong the last time when you came and told us that the weight restrictions are illegal. They're not illegal. There are weight restrictions throughout New Jersey. They're not illegal. Are there ways that you can do weight restrictions that are illegal, that violate the Commerce Clause? Yes. But not all weight restrictions are illegal. So when you get upset that we're not sitting here carefully paying attention to you, it's because you're not right. And with that, I'll go on to the next item 13, the ordinances. We have public.
Number 12.
I'm sorry?
Consent item.
12.
Can I
consent
move
Oh,
agenda.
sorry.
agendas before we do that?
Thank you.
Somebody second.
Yeah, sorry. Consent agenda items. All right, do we take these all at once?
All at once.
All
No
right.
discussion.
So we,
We do, I mean, you're gonna have the other ones, right?
They include the blue light permits,
all the blue light permits.
all 9 of them.
Yeah, there were 7. I think
There
you
were-
We
added,
had
Well,
additions.
Right.
I had to add,
you added a few at the beginning of the meeting.
Right.
yes.
So this is to approve all of those listed on the agenda, plus the additional
Correct.
consent items, which were blue lights.
Yes.
Okay, so can I have a motion?
He's gotta say it, it's gotta be on the record. Come on.
No, he doesn't.
If I don't, I will get an email from Sue Passelt. Okay?
Oh, all right, well then.
I do not want to get those
Okay, let's
emails.
do that.
So can I have a motion to approve these consent agenda items?
Oh, now you want
Yeah.
to hear it.
Now I want it.
So moved.
Anyone second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Hi, I'd like to just say this is encouraging that we're getting more members and action with the rescue squad. I think this is,
No, this is fire department.
these were all fire department, all of them?
Spoke too soon. At least we got fires.
They're all fire,
They're all fire.
all fire.
They
Okay.
picked up some additional volunteers. They mentioned that to me when I attended one of the house events at the firehouse. They're getting additional volunteers, which is good.
Well, great for the firehouse, too, yeah.
Uh,
Congratulations to the firehouse.
Although I do think, I have this recollection that the rescue squad also told me that
They-
they've picked
4
up.
new
Yeah,
members
they've
and
picked up,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
that
nice.
are, they're through their training.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Good.
But when, he was here
Yeah,
and told us.
Yeah, and then I ran into them and they were,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay. all
So-
in favor.
Okay, so, did I ask all in favor?
I think so.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
All right, we all did, okay. All right, so now let's go to the ordinances. We have 4 tonight that we are going to have a public hearing on. I'll take them in the order they appear here. The first one is what I call the Wurtsville Industries property. I've talked about this extensively. Don't I need a motion to open to the public first?
Yeah.
So can I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? We're open to the public. Anyone want to discuss ordinance 20-03? Motion to close to the public?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next one is ordinance 20-04.
Take
Oh,
action.
sorry. We need a head count, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, go
yeah.
ahead,
So you
Chris.
have to motion to adopt.
Okay, could I have a motion
I
to
did
adopt?
this wrong, so it's paper.
So moved.
I'll second.
Don't we have to do the proof of publication too?
That's after.
Okay. You want to take the head
It's in
count?
the wrong order.
Hmm?
All right, go ahead with the head count.
Mr. Castellano,
Yes.
Mr. Matthews,
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Sobieski,
Yes.
and Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
The adoption notice will be published in the March 19th, 2020 issue of the Hunterdon County Democrat.
Okay, next is the ordinance 20-04, which is amending section 92-83 of the Code of East Amwell Township entitled zoning map. And it is just simply to replace our old zoning map with an updated zoning map. which reflects the lot line adjustment for what we call the Deneb parcel, which is the parcel directly across the street. Could I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Anyone from the public want to discuss that ordinance? Seeing no one coming forward, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Could I have a motion to adopt ordinance dash 20, or ordinance number 20-04?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Castellano?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Sobieski?
Yes.
And Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
The adoption notice will be published in the March 19th, 2020 issue of the Hunterdon County Democrat.
The third is 20-05, which is amending Article 5, the Development Application Review Procedures of Chapter 92, which is the land management section of our code. This is basically what I would call a cleanup ordinance. We are simply updating certain sections in our land management section of our code to reflect our new application checklist for the planning board.
We adopted the checklist of the last.
Correct.
meeting, right? Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Could I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved. Oh, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone
Who-
opposed?
Pete, was that you first?
It was,
Mark first?
yeah, Mark and me.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone from the public want to discuss 20-05? Seeing no one coming forward, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Could I have a motion to approve 20-05?
To adopt.
Sorry, to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Castellano?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Sobieski?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
The adoption notice will be published in the March 19th, 2020 issue of the Hunterdon County Democrat.
Okay, next and last in terms of the public hearings is ordinance-2006, which is an ordinance amending our provisions dealing with the Ringo's Village Advisory Committee. We just made some amendments, which I discussed in detail at the last meeting, to open it up to a broader group of people and to make a few technical corrections. So could I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone from the public want to discuss 20-06? Seeing no one coming forward, could I have a motion to close?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Could I have motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Mr. Castellano?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Sobieski?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf.
Yes, I can't handle the pressure.
The
Thanks, yes.
This approve, this adopt, it's,
the adoption
Too
notice will be
complicated.
published in the March 19th, 2020 issue of the Hunterdon County Democrat.
okay. Introduction of ordinances. We are introducing an ordinance tonight. It was an ordinance that was requested by our DPW supervisor and by our CFO. It is to amend Section 92-51, which is entitled Driveways of the Code of East Amwell. The existing code, for some reason, provides that if a resident is putting in a new driveway and there is drainage that is required in conjunction with that new driveway piping, the burden of installing the piping falls on our DPW. That didn't make sense to Jason, so Jason asked me if we could change that. It really should be the resident who is installing the driveway that should be responsible for putting in the piping. That piping, like the driveway, will have to be done to certain specifications. So that made sense to me, so this amendment does that. This amendment also gives Jason discretion to shorten the length of the apron that you need at the beginning of the driveway. Right now, our ordinance says the apron has to run 50 feet off the center line. What Jason tells me is that's fine on a county road. When you get into the narrower roads in East Amwell, he doesn't see a need to force residents to put in that long of an apron. So an amendment says that it is 50 feet or such shorter distance as approved by our DPW supervisor. Jason typically requests 15 to 20 feet off the road. The last was requested by Margaret, which is if somebody posts a bond and doesn't complete their project within 5 years, they forfeit the bond. She tells me that is standard in municipalities and that we are behind other municipalities in that regard. The Township Committee did that on an ad hoc basis in 2016. They went through, or 2017, the first year that I was on. They did it on an ad hoc basis to go through and clean up the inventory. But she'd like some clearly defined rule in the ordinance so that you're not doing it on an ad hoc basis. That made sense to me since it is consistent with what other municipalities are doing. So those are the three changes. And so I'd like to introduce that ordinance this evening. I guess I just need a motion to introduce, correct?
Yes.
So could I have a motion to introduce what will become ordinance 20-07?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I just have a question. An appeal process, what if someone doesn't agree that our engineer or Jason think there's a drainage pipe necessary, and now they're burdened with the cost of it? What's the appeal process by which they could,
The appeal process would go to the appellate court, Superior Court.
they'd have to take us to court? There's nothing we could put in the ordinance to create an appeal?
Who
Who would they appeal to?
Who
There's
has
no
the, who
board.
has the skill in East Amwell that could override Jason and our engineer?
If they
Because-
were right, Jason, it would be the engineer.
Right, but this says Jason and the engineer.
Yeah,
so-
otherwise they would have to hire their own engineer, but that would be more of a civil.
Right, and we're not gonna put ourselves in between a battle
Mm-hmm.
of engineers. If our DPW supervisor and engineer are telling us that X is needed, then we're going with their recommendation.
I hear that. I'm thinking about the residents, and there could be situations where a resident might say, that seems awfully arduous to take what I planned as a driveway and now require me to put extra drainage in. If their own engineer, or whoever designed their driveway, the guy they hired to do it, said he didn't need it. It just seems to me to be, that we should have some latitude for someone to challenge.
Look, from what I understand, and this comes up in a different context, municipalities don't have these sorts of issues being appealed to the Township Committee because the Township Committee really isn't qualified to decide them. That comes up in connection with certain variances where under the law, if you are unhappy with the decision made by the planning board, you could appeal to the Township Committee. Most municipalities, as permitted under the law, eliminate that provision and say, if you are unhappy with the decision of the planning board, you have to go directly to Superior Court. I am fine with this as written, and I'm prepared to bring it up for a motion to introduce. If you are not fine, I guess you can vote no. But I think it's nuts to say, bring it to the Township Committee
I didn't
when we're
say-
not
Rick,
qualified.
Rick, I didn't say bring it, I said there should be an appeal process. I don't know what that process would be. I didn't say it's the Township Committee. I just said there should be a way by which this could get a second look. I don't know what that is.
If you'd like to, at the next meeting, draft an appeals process, we could talk about in the future amending the ordinance to accommodate that appeals process if the Township Committee agrees with the appeals process.
I mean, they have to work with the driveway installation, so I don't.
Look, Krista, Jason doesn't over-engineer things.
No.
Jason asked for
He
the
works,
right
yeah.
to make it less than 50
We've
feet.
never had an issue.
We've never had an issue. But if you have a problem,
I'm not
you
talking
should
about the
feel free
50
to.
feet. I'm not,
I know, I'm just
Right.
telling you, Jason isn't out there making people do things that they don't have to do.
He's reasonable.
He's very reasonable.
I guess for the
I think
future.
what I'm suggesting is reasonable. I don't know
Tim,
what the solution is.
Draft it, and we'll look at it.
I'm not a lawyer.
You are a lawyer,
I'm-
except when it comes time for you
Okay.
to have to draft something, then you're not a lawyer. Draft an outline. I'll put it in legalese if we approve it. You give me a concept, not, gee, I think we should have an appeals process. Well, what kind of appeals process? I don't know. Come with something concrete, Tim. I get a little frustrated when this stuff is in the Google Drive, you have an opportunity to think about it, to come with something
Okay.
concrete, and you throw out a concept. Give me something concrete. Tell me what kind of appeals process you want.
An appeals process.
Is
How's
the
that?
drive, is the driveway
That's not
thing-
helpful, Tim.
Is this a zoning regulation?
Yeah. Well, no, this is
this
in
not
driveways.
zoning. It's
This isn't,
driveways.
this is in
This has nothing to
driveways.
do with zoning or?
No.
No.
I was gonna say zoning hearing board maybe, but that, I mean, that would be the closest thing.
And the planning board, we on the planning board, you know, we would have to rely on an engineer. None of us here has the qualifications to sit down and look at drainage that's been proposed by Jason and say, this is too extensive. None of us does. The only people who do really are engineers. So if you want to propose an appeals process, propose it. Don't just say to me, I want appeals. That's not helpful, Tim.
Introduce your ordinance then.
I'm going to introduce the ordinance. Can I have a motion to introduce 20-07?
We have it, we have Chris.
Oh, I'm
Lamar.
sorry.
We already introduced it.
I'm sorry. Then, all in favor?
No.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have, aye, so we have 4 ayes, 1 opposed.
This ordinance will be published in the March 19th, 2020 issue of the Hunterdon County Democrat, and the public hearing is set for the next regular township meeting at 7:30 p.m.
You know, people spend a lot of time working on this, a lot of time, a lot of effort. To come in and say, I don't like it, give me an appeals process, and then I say, what kind of appeals process? I don't know, I want an appeals process. It's not helpful, it's very frustrating, Tim. You know, we work really, really hard on this. Our predecessors delegated this to professionals, and the residents wound up paying the fees. We here, a few of us here, are working really hard
Okay.
to save that money, to draft these ordinances. I don't mind if you have a concrete comment, but to just say, I don't like this, give me an appeals process. No, you give me the appeals process then.
I heard you. You've said it 3 times.
Well, I've
I
said it
voted
before
no.
and it doesn't seem to register, so I'm hoping maybe if I say it 3 times, it will register, because you've done this before.
Guys, come on, we got it.
And I'm getting very frustrated.
Get frustrated.
take the damn
Get frustrated.
If I could, Tim, I appreciate where you're coming from. I just don't. I mean, practically, what body would even?
I don't know.
Hear it, you know,
All I'm listen,
thinking-
let me be a human here.
Yeah.
Engineering aside, we have residents out there that may want to redo their driveway, do whatever they're doing, and this could be a surprise cost to them.
Okay, we can't discuss it
Okay.
anymore since it's already been voted on.
Okay,
so.
fine. We'll discuss it next time.
Okay.
But Tim,
Okay.
I for one appreciate where you're coming from. You know, I get it. I do. Avoiding
All right.
litigation whenever you can is always good.
Unfinished business?
No, we don't have it.
Okay. What is summer playground?
So, just approval that we can go ahead and start, advertising,
Oh, right.
accepting applications. We're getting the ball rolling ahead of time this year. In that last minute, so I've already gotten 2 applications in from, directors.
Already?
Yes, and we're getting applications in for the program as well.
Really?
Let's
Yes.
hope we're not under quarantine when the summer rolls around.
Last year was very last minute, so I wanted to get, on the ball this year, so.
Makes sense.
I've been working with Tira, and, we've started rolling it out.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah, so hopefully next committee or May.
Are you just looking for a consensus that we're
Yeah,
okay
I just
with
wanted
it?
to,
Just bring it.
We okay with that?
okay, to
Yeah,
go ahead and
definitely.
roll it out.
Go ahead and roll it out?
Definitely.
Now, who wants to be Kevin this year? And
That's
take
me.
over? Oh, you're Kevin this year? All right.
Kevin.
And is Allison okay with that?
I need a vote on that.
Could be thrown off on that too.
All right. Could I have a motion to open to the public? We don't have anything else under new business?
No, that's it.
Okay, could I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Seeing no one coming forward, can I have a motion to close?
So moved.
No, did you say open to the
Open to
public?
the public.
Yes,
Oh, I couldn't, yeah, I got something.
come on up.
Make you feel good? That made you feel real good, didn't it? Well, I'll tell you what. See, I remember the first time I met you too. See, when I grew up, my dad always
Richie.
used to say to me, when you first
Richie,
meet...
for the record.
Oh, Rich, okay, Rich Spiegel. I got a word, Ted, Monk Mountain Road. My dad always said to me, when you first meet somebody, always make sure your hand's out first. You can tell a lot about a person. You can tell a lot about a person, how he holds your hand, how he shakes your hand. If he just grabs your hand, he's a little flimsy. See, you can tell a lot about that. And I learned that later on getting into construction business. And I live by it to this day. But the very first time I met you, you didn't even put your hand out. You see, that told me a lot about you, okay? You like to get people all worked up. You like to get them in a frenzy so they can argue here with you. Personally, I'm just laughing right now because anything you said didn't bother me one bit. But I'll tell you what, I never said to you that we had an illegal Board of Health. See, I got a good memory. I'm not in the cyber world. I don't need that little tip-tap thing that's in front of you. I don't need that. What I said to you was, East Amwell's Board of Health was not a legal Board of Health because it's an enforcement board. We have two types of Board of Health in the state of New Jersey. We have an enforcement board and an advisory board. In the state of New Jersey, to have an enforcement board, you need a certain population to have an enforcement board, okay? Now, I don't know what laws you're looking at, okay? And I know you're not looking at New Jersey's. Because we're at that time, and actually I went back, 1928 I think, it was done by a letter, okay? To be over, at that time, the last time I looked, the statutes, I think it was 10,000 or 12,000 to be an enforcement board. We're an enforcement board in this town, we're not an advisory board. That's what I meant, we have an illegal board according to the criteria of the state of New Jersey. Now here's the thing, if you want to be called an advisory board, you have to have a doctor on hand, you have a nurse on hand, okay? The facilities have to have offices. I even told Mayor Tash I would bring the Haddonfield mayor down here, because he said he would come down, because Haddonfield, New Jersey, I knew, and they have an enforcement board, and I called him up, and he said, Rich, if you want me to, he says, I'll come down to the meeting and explain how it operates, okay? So that's why I said to you that we have an illegal board as far as the state criteria is. I didn't say we don't need a board. The board we have should be an advisory board, not an enforcement board. And that's what I said to you, you see. But you see, I've watched you in other places and other venues. You don't like to talk to people above your peer. I've noticed that about you, okay? I mean, I watch you very close whenever I get a chance to. Sometimes you don't even know I'm around. We go to a fundraiser. It's easy to know you're not around because you just sit in the corner like a little boy with your hands folded like this, you know? You just sit there, okay? I watch you. So, I mean, you think you want to get people all rammed up and all arguing. You know what I do? I just take it from the source. I look at the source. And when I look at you, you want control. You want to be a monarch. You don't want to be a mayor. You want to tell everybody. I see it right here with these gentlemen sitting with you. You come in. I heard one person sat here one night. She stood up, and I'm not going to mention her name, and she asked a question. You couldn't even answer it. She says, why is it that every time I come to a meeting, you just come in and you just say, resolution for this, ordinance for that, you sit down, everybody just votes, and boom. Where was the discussion? Where was the discussion? We always had live discussions, but not with you. And the other thing, the process always has been in any town you go to. When you appoint people to boards, it's open to the public. The mayor makes all appointments, but it's open to the public. Well, in the past, and that's the other side of the aisle, which it's not around no more, because you beat them to death right out of the building. The thing is, we used to have it right here. It would be posted. We'd sit up here, 2 tables, the people for the boards, will be waiting outside to be interviewed. That we have people sit here that wanted to turn around and see how the interviews went. We'd call them in one at a time. They would come in, they would sit down. We'd all get to ask them questions. Why? What's your experience? We carried on an interview the way it should be carried on, just like if you're going to hire somebody for a job. You're not going to have one person in your office interview everybody and then come to you and say, I'm hiring this person. The next day you got somebody you might not get along with. You might find out they have an attitude, like you do, Mayor, an attitude. Boy, what an attitude you got. But anyway, so don't ever try to go toe-to-toe with me, eyes to eyes, and nose to nose. Because I don't need a computer to talk to you, okay? I don't need one. You are a joke.
Anyone else from the
My
public?
opinion, you are
Anyone
a
else
joke.
from the public? Motion to close?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Our Board of Health is in fact an enforcement board. It is required under state law. I don't know what law you're reading, but it's not a New Jersey law. The notion that I go to fundraisers and sit in the corner with my hands folded, people were laughing when you said that. I don't go anywhere and sit in the corner with my hands folded.
People were laughing.
If there's a joke in this room, Richie, it's you. You are the joke. You come here, you think you're an expert in the law, you think you're an expert in engineering, you criticize our DPW,
You sound ridiculous.
you criticize everybody. If there's a joke here, Richie, it's you. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know law, you don't know engineering, you don't come to fundraisers. You showed up at the St. Patty Days. And to say I sat in the corner with my hands folded, you don't come to fundraisers. And when you do, when you start spouting off, when you do come to any event, you should hear what people are saying when you walk away. I'm not the only one who thinks you're a joke. And you take credit for everything in this municipality, even things that happened when you weren't on the committee. You sat here during the hearing on the golf course telling us that you were the one who did the golf course ordinance. Really, Richie, in 1999, when you weren't even on the committee, you take credit for everything. Everything in this township, you did. You had your hands in. You're the joke, Richie. And you can keep coming here and wasting our time spouting off about the law. And by the way, me wanting control. Talk to these folks. Every meeting we have, Krista's there, Jason's there, Pam is there, Margaret's there. I have the unilateral right to appoint people to committees. Do I do it? No. We talk about it here. The entire township committee votes on it. Maybe if you paid attention once in a while, you would see that. You sit there on Route 31 at your little seat. Everybody who talks about that says this guy is a joke. You're the joke, Richie. And I'm growing tired of it. You physically threatened him in a parking lot to the point where he had to call the state police. How much are we supposed to put up with that? He called the state police.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, why do you think he called the state police, Richie?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Of course you have no idea. You have such a great memory. Maybe you should get one of these. And if you think threatening physical violence is going to get you anywhere, it's not.
Got any proof?
You think he lied? Why would he call the state police? Why would he lie?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Why would he lie?
Maybe he's like you.
Ah, I see.
Stories.
Maybe he's like me. He sits in the corner with his hands folded
You have any
too.
witnesses? You have any witnesses?
I'm not getting involved in
Move on.
this discussion.
I know.
You
I
guys
would-
have your
I give
discussion.
you a little more credit to that.
Move on.
All right, you're right. Okay. Administrative reports, bills of the evening. The last 2 months were in the Google Drive because February got posted on the day of the meeting and we didn't have time to review them. We opted to defer February until March, so we're looking at 2 months. Anybody have any comments on the bills of the evening? Could I have a motion can I do both at
No,
once?
do separate.
All right. Can I have a motion to approve the bills of the evening for February 13th, 2020?
I'll move their approval.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the bills of the evening for March 12th, 2020?
I'll move their approval.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Any,
I just wanted to, did you understand Anne Marie's new format of the way she did her reports?
I'll be honest with you, Krista. I looked at it. I don't profess to fully understand it. I was going to talk to Anne Marie. It does seem really well organized,
Yeah.
but I don't profess to understand
I
all of
have
it.
a little breakdown, I can send you how she explained it to me.
That would be
I have
great.
it on a note.
I mean, I don't know that it's critical, but it would be nice.
I can have her come and
I like
explain it.
I like the monthly, and I like the breakout, and I think it would help us if we understood it better to see if there's a good trend, a bad trend, or
Okay.
indifferent.
Okay.
But I'll be honest with you, I don't fully understand. But
Okay.
I looked at it, and
She
I
said she'd be more than happy to explain it to everybody, so
you wanted to come to the
Yeah,
next meeting?
definitely.
I think
I'll
it'd
ask
be good.
maybe if she can
Yeah.
come to the
sure.
next township committee meeting.
It seemed comprehensive.
Yeah,
You know,
she's
it
very
was a
thorough in
different
what she
format.
does,
Yeah,
so,
it was
I
a
mean,
di-
it's not like just Mary's little,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
a much different format, and looked thorough. As Rick said, some of the columns or explanations, I wasn't really sure what
okay.
they
We're not
actually
familiar
mean.
with, right?
Yeah.
Look, she is, my impression has been she's very good. And we were really lucky to get her. And she's also very nice. I was talking to the mayor of Raritan. They love her over there. But I think it would be helpful if she's able to come to the next
Sure.
meeting and give us a primer on. And then we can post it on the website and the public can look at it too. Anybody have any comments about any of the correspondence? I mean, I did look at the police reports. There are always things in there that intrigue me. I noticed 2 loose animal reports on Orchard. I'm wondering if those were the horses?
No,
No?
Sheep,
a dog.
dogs.
Okay,
Same dog, right?
okay.
Yeah.
Dog.
All right, all right. But there are always things in there that, I'd love to know a little more background. They're kind of intriguing, but as I understand it, the state police don't share that information, so the report is what it is, but I do encourage people to look at the monthly police report. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Peter, you opposed?
No.
Okay, nobody's opposed. We're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay safe.